What is going on, my future meta millionaires? It is your boy, Terry Stonkers, and welcome to my channel, baby, by the dip. All right, guys, I just want to say, do you see what's back there? We had to change out the George because Brda tonight just did something phenomenal, and that's what you're going to get to witness in this video. Now, I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of great information in this video. I highly suggest to watch the entire thing. And I will come out probably tomorrow and the days leading up after this, making special clips of certain parts of this John Brda interview that we have here on the MetaFam chat on Twitter. So thank you to Syntax. Thank you to Smokey. Thank you to all the Meta family that helped put this together and get Brda on the call to just basically, he didn't give anything that's not public knowledge, but it's nice to hear from someone confirming what we've been saying all along. So it's going to be one of those videos again. You're going to see me for the intro. The Brda part, you're going to start right at the John Brda where he starts talking to everyone. And then you have about 5 or 10 minutes of all of us on the chat, me, Syntax, Smokey, other people in there, Bird Lady, Roller Pigeons. We're all excited. You hear us all talking for about 5 or 10 minutes afterwards. And I clip all that in this video. I'll come out and do separate clips in a later one. Go check out everyone else's YouTube channel. I'm going to send this link to Smokey and Roller Pigeons, and that way they can do their own clips as well. So that way we get to spread out as much as we can. So just want to say thank you to everyone. I'll tell you what, man, it was exciting to hear everyone's enthusiasm in the chat about John Brda. So thank you again, John Brda, if you ever see this, man. But thank you so much for coming in the chat. And Brda, we trust. Hope you all enjoy the video. Please just smash thumbs up and leave a comment down below because you know it helps out that algorithm.
Hey, I just noticed, John, you have a mic. Are you able to use it? Or do you want to try just saying,
hello.
Hey?
hello.
Hey.
Can you guys hear me?
Hello, John. How are you?
I'm good.
Yes, we can.
You know, it only took me 15 minutes to figure this out.
Well, I'm glad that we could be your first space call. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. I don't know how much you can speak to or if you even want to, but we were just discussing just pre-meta, so TRCH Torch, your experience and how frustrating and everything that you had to deal with for years and years with the shorting that you experienced.
Yeah, it was quite something. Quite frankly, the first time I really got a taste for it was when I would say about 8 months after we uplisted to NASDAQ. You know, I monitored the short reports every 2 weeks that NASDAQ put out, and I had a NASDAQ rep that I would talk to about it, and try to understand who's shorting and why and what have you. And then one particular time, I think this was in October of like 2014 or 15. Can't remember exactly right now, but we had like 3.2 million shares short, and then the next time it came out, we had 1 million shares short. And so I did an analysis of the trading for those 2 weeks, and it was just an impossibility that there was short covering. It just, at that point, we were trading maybe 100,000 shares a day, and every single trade plus 300,000 would have had to have been a short cover in order for that, that covering to be matching up with what NASDAQ told me. So I put a request into NASDAQ to investigate and FINRA, and they came back and said, sorry, that short position was moved offshore and it's no longer in our purview, so we can't give you any information on it. And I'm like, I was flabbergasted. I couldn't believe it. And I was like, so wait a second. Just 2 weeks ago, you told me that every share that was short, you had a line of sight on that share, on those shares, and that they were legitimately shorted. Now you're telling me you have no idea where that stock went. And they're like, yeah, that's correct. That's like, okay, well, this is some real bullshit going on here. And it continued to get like that, over the years. It was just, we were getting shorted over in Germany, we were getting shorted in Europe, and these guys that are offshore, they will short you and try to drive you into death, so they never have to cover. there was an article on Twitter this week I saw in some of the threads about the analysis of a short, and it was spot on. All of that stuff that was in there, I experienced. And you guys have done a great job of analyzing this, and kudos to you all for getting together like this. I think it's fantastic. And anything I can do to help within my purview that I can actually speak about, I'd be more than happy to. So
we really appreciate that, John. Oh man, you have no idea how much this community actually enjoys hearing somebody actually be able to speak out about it that has experienced it like firsthand. I mean, we only speculate on it, we guess, we hope we're right, and apparently we're nailing it right on the head.
Yeah, you're it's funny. I see a lot of the tweets, and I don't respond to a lot of them, but you guys are there's some of the stuff that's kind of way out there, but you're
Sorry, I'm laughing out loud. Sometimes we get off.
But I will say this: you're I would say 95% of the time you guys are spot on, so that's great.
Yeah, we're probably the bane of Ken, but that's okay.
Ken doesn't like any of this, by the way.
I know.
But I'll tell you one.
Yeah, no.
I'll tell you the big one you guys missed about 2 weeks ago was when they hired Yanni.
Yeah, no, I love that. So that guy, he is something special.
Well, you have to Google or go on YouTube and look for Black Files Declassified. This was just a special that came out on the Science Channel.
Are we talking Argus?
I paid it. Yep.
And it's...
Yes, I think Smokey and I have been messaging about that.
Been? Okay, I didn't see anybody talk about it.
Yes. I actually did a video about it.
Oh, you did?
It was I did. I did a video. It was because nobody was talking about the fact that we brought him on, that we brought Yanni on. I'm like, wait a second. He's the creator of Argus. He's like, he did this.
Well, there's
huge.
Yeah. I thought that was really, really intriguing. And I had when I was out at CES with a guest of Meta, I had a chance to sit down with him, and just brilliant mind. And so we'll see where this goes with inside of Meta, but I do know that he is extremely connected and brilliant. So that's going to be a huge one for him.
Well, he was the one.
A question.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I have a question that maybe you can answer, because you would know better. Do people carry over their clearance? So just in general, so like he has obviously or had military clearance. Would he carry that over? Does that like apply towards Meta, or does he lose that at his old company?
Yeah.
No, I think I don't really know the answer to that as far as military clearance, but I do know that, well, let's just say that I know things are going to be happening with Yanni, and let's just hope they come to fruition.
Can I pipe up for a second? So, Smokey, sure. I know absolutely for a fact you keep your clearance, and I know for a fact that is something that people look at for hiring, just because those are the people that are in my community, right? Because I work with a lot of, or work and know with a lot of military people, and they're so, they're so expensive to do those clearances, so it's really a benefit. But more than that, because we're looking at Yanni's, he was with BAE, right? And that was the company. I don't know if you guys remember one of our last fam chats. I was like, if something happens with BAE, I need to know, because there's some cool stuff. And there's some stuff in my purview, which obviously I don't want to put my tinfoil hat on and say too much, but there's some things that I'm very interested to see. The thing about Argus that's so cool, right? You were talking about this, Smokey, in your video, right? You can see like such fine details, but the typical lens of what they're doing for surveillance, like if they were looking at something, it was like looking at something through a straw, right? You couldn't get very much information, but Argus is like giving you so much fine detail, but like a wide lens. This is some cool stuff. I'm excited to see his connections are fantastic, because as much as it pains me, I talk about the military industrial complex, and that's not really talking about it in a positive light, because I'm not always positive towards them, but there really is a good old boys club. It really is who you know, right? So this is huge.
Yeah,
brilliant.
DARPA funded that whole program, and so he's obviously has military connections, and BAE is a fantastic company, and so I it'd be interesting to see what kind of projects they put him on here at Meta, but whatever he's on, I'm sure is going to be improved tremendously.
Yeah, so he's the head of engineering, electro, optical, and infrared systems.
Right.
So,
well, if you go back and look what he did with Argus, he basically, the way he describes it is like 64, iPhone cameras mated together, and then the software meshes the image together, and they can actually each one of those cameras can be individually sourced, which was really bizarre, really slick actually. But anyway, when I saw that for the first time, actually about 6 months ago, I was like, "Holy crap, that's incredible!" So,
I foresee him leading us towards that whole autonomous driving field.
Yeah, that's keep in mind, Jonathan Waldron is a big optical guy too. So the two of those collaborating are going to be really fun.
Yes. Yeah, because Argus was able to spot. Yeah, because Argus is able to spot like distance and everything. Yeah. So if with the calculations of all of that together, oh my God, it's just limitless. And then you add the nanoweb in there to power it all and keep it all free of fog and ice, and just it's crazy.
Hey, did you ever find anything, Smokey, about the office in Maryland? Did you ever get any details on that?
I've got no details on the office in Maryland as of yet. They said it was supposed to be opening up here in the next couple of weeks. I would assume that once it's open, you'll probably see something about it, because every time that they get any kind of property lease or anything, you'll see it in the queues. So I would assume you may see it in this one or the next one at minimum.
Hey, John, does it ever make you laugh when we're out trying to scout information and we're like, "Where's the office?"
Because I know all the answers to the questions you're asking, and so, and just to be clear, I'm still a consultant to the company, and I have not sold a share of Meta, and haven't sold a share of MMTLP. McCabe has never sold a share. We were both when we looked at Meta for the first time. Greg and I both looked at each other and said, "Shit, this is the next BASF. It's this is a generational stock." And so that's why we were so excited to do this deal. I'm in no rush to do anything other than sit and let them do what they need to do. So
absolutely, this could be the next generational hold.
Yep. So it's there's a lot going on, and they're drinking out of a fire hose internally. I know that.
Does that make you feel, I don't know, kind of peace or vindication, knowing, that the day will come that they'll get theirs, kind of a thing?
It's interesting is that I think the day will come where they just decide to go for a different stock, because the short guys, that's how they make their living. They're looking for companies that they think are not going to make it, and they're going to drive them into the ground. That's their goal. It's completely un-American in my view, and I think personally, any market cap, under say $500 million shouldn't allowed to be shorted, because you never give these companies a chance to make it. They're just, they're so big and powerful that you can't fight them, and the SEC is not going to do anything about it. They never do. So,
did you reach out to the SEC at all?
I've actually, indirectly, I would say yes, but I was always advised from my attorney, SEC counsel, who was a former SEC attorney. He said, "There's nothing good that's going to happen by you reporting anything to the SEC." He said, because what they'll end up doing is instead of looking at the shorts, they're going to question everything that you've ever done with the company. He says that's the way it goes. It never goes for the shorts. It always goes for the company. And I was like, well, that's great.
That's it.
Well, that's because the shorts have their hands in their pockets.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, you know, you got Citadel, Virtue, State Street, Melvin. All of these guys have got their hands right in Gensler's back pocket.
Yep.
I mean, it's never going to be
Well,
corrected.
Gensler wants to get a cushy job when he's done, right? It's like it's a revolving door. Are we working for the hedge fund or are we working for the SEC, right?
So it's
well, you know, everybody who works for the SEC worked for hedge funds.
I think the shorts will eventually find another victim and they'll move away, but it's going to, you know, not without trying one last push. That's for sure.
Do you think
absolutely.
that Meta had a target on its back because of TRCH?
Absolutely, I believe that.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah, because Meta's
ever since day one,
they're in a good cash position, and they've got, you know, 200 and some odd patents, and you know they're the type of company that people should be getting on board with. And if you look at the institutional holders of the stock right now, State Street and Vanguard, and you know some of these other, you know, BlackRock, what have you, they're not there because they like Meta. They're there because they were forced to be there through some ETF or some you know deal that they had to buy, and then all the option trading around it. That's what's causing those guys to have positions. You know, they don't give a shit about Meta. They're not.
That's right.
They probably never even had a conversation with Meta.
They'll lend every single share that they own out to other short sellers, to other broker dealers without batting an eye, and then they'll make money off of that too.
Absolutely. So it's always funny to see institutional holders, and you know those guys that I've mentioned. They're just, you know, they're the worst of the worst. So
yeah, they are. They are, absolutely. And this has been a battle that's been going on for years. And the funny thing is it's only really come to major light over the last couple of years.
Yep, that's true. That's very true. It was interesting. So we'll see what happens. You know, the MMTLP thing was, you know, a shocker, caught us all off guard.
Yes.
And you know that there was some mistakes made in that deal, unbeknownst to anybody, quite frankly, that allowed them to trade it. And you know,
but to be fair, I mean that had never ever happened before, right?
No, you know, it's two market makers got together on the gray sheets, and the only reason they were allowed to do it is because of one word that was in the preferred, and it said transferable.
Oh wow.
That was it. So and they also had a QSIP number, and we also used DTC to distribute it. So it was, you know, they got together and went to FINRA, got a ticker, and went to the gray sheets and used information from 2012 when I was the president of the company, not CEO. And it was just, you know, OTC markets didn't do anything about it. Nobody did anything about it. They don't care. So.
Yeah. I imagine that was a frustrating, I would think maybe a right word, and this is probably bad, but I would imagine it was kind of a clusterfuck when they saw that the NMTLP was trading like, holy crap.
I was getting phone calls from my broker and from, you know, guys that were close to the deal. And like, are you looking at this ticker? I said, I have no idea what you're talking about. I was actually on a trip to Nashville when it happened. And you know, I saw my 2.2 million shares all of a sudden worth $6.6 million in my account. I was like, oh, okay. How the hell did that happen? You know, so you know, that's when I started to look into it. But yeah, it's the nefarious shit going on, and
absolutely,
we'll see.
Well, I was
now
that TRCH was still trading in some European markets.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
That TRCH was still trading in some European markets, even still.
I don't know how much it trades over there, and I don't know that they mark, you know, daily trades or what have you. I have no idea, but yeah, it's, you know, the interesting thing is that my theory is that MMTLP would have never happened had the books been really balanced on the dividend day. So the brokerage houses, the prime brokers, and these hedge funds never cleared their position. And
Now they're kind of stuck, right?
yep. And so they've, you know, they started trading this so they could get, you know, people to sell their preferred positions that were in their brokerage account so they could clear out their trade.
Exactly.
So
because the sooner you get rid of it, they can account for it.
that's right. So and it's
now,
still not.
Here, can we?
I still don't think it's over. To be honest with you.
Oh no, I don't think it is. Now, I do want to know if we can clear this one thing up. Since we've got you on the line, and you're as official as it gets. And I think this has been made public. If you can't answer it, just say no. You can't answer it. Everything was transferable. You just said that. That means anybody who holds the new shares of MMTLP means that get transferred too, right? They get their dividend.
Yeah, they get their dividend.
Yep. Thank you very much. I needed to hear that. Thank you. You're welcome, Bird.
I'm so glad she unmuted to do that. Do it again, Pig. Do it again.
Yay! No, I've been hiding in office plant mode. I've been just observing in the office plant, listening in, taking notes. And then, so it's like Smokey asked the $1 million question, and we heard it.
Yeah, it's, you know, I've seen that on Twitter a lot for a long time. People were concerned about, you know, if they bought MMTLP when they're getting their shares. And I know, I thought Ken had mentioned something about it before, so I didn't really say anything about it. But yeah, I mean, you know, I know a lot of guys buying MMTLP.
Yeah.
So
and I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bird. Go ahead.
Yeah, so how Ken worded it, and this is where a lot of the animosity has generated from, is that, you know, Ken can't really say MMTLP legally. Like, they can't give another ticker outside of, you know, MMAT or MMAX. And so he always says the preferred A shares, the original preferred A shares, and it's just that nomenclature of the preferred A shares has caused all this animosity and this dichotomy that has happened.
That's because he doesn't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole because we had nothing to do with it. And so, you know, Ken is a former attorney. So when he says stuff like that, it comes from an attorney background.
Yeah, he's very.
You said he didn't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole because that's what I said. I'm like, I'm not touching this with a 10-foot pole.
I'm a bit more adventurous. I'm like, woo, I can buy more.
Yeah, I don't know why that was such a big deal, to be honest with you. You know, it's funny. And then they tried to make this thing about, you know, when George supposedly was video or recorded from the Italian guys. And, you know, he said, well, the dividend could be $1 or $20. We don't know what it's going to be. And, you know, at the time, the MMTLP was trading at $2. I said, well, if that's not satisfactory, sell it, you know, just sell it, you know.
Well, that's
right.
That's the video that everyone was trying to find the full recording, right? Isn't that the one where he was getting misrepresented because people were taking pieces of it?
And there's forward-looking statements in there too. There, you know, quite frankly, that and them taping that was complete BS. You know,
what's real BS is the fact that people are taking a 20-30 minute excerpt from an hour and a half long conversation.
Yeah. Did you ever find that full video or recording?
No.
Recording?
No, I've looked high and low. So the only person I think that actually may have the full video, other than, of course, I think Meta probably has it, their attorneys may have it, is Radar from StockTwits, which, as we all think, that's Radar Capital. But I think that's the only person who has it, and nobody's seen hide nor hair of him. So
yeah, I've never been on StockTwits, so I couldn't tell you.
Don't go on there. It's a waste.
No, it's okay. I love StockTwits. Shout out to my StockTwits people watching. I love you. Radar said he'd come back at $8.
$8, yes. Bird loves StockTwits.
You can have it. You can have it, Pitch. I want nothing. I won't touch StockTwits with a 10-foot pole. There we go.
It's okay. I'm adventurous. I love StockTwits. Shout out to StockTwits, my second home. You guys are great.
Oh man, this is fun. Anyway,
This is fun. Okay, so John, I do want to ask a question then, and maybe you know, as far as the NMTLP, do we have synthetics on that? Because it's shorting, right?
I assume there's shorting going on. I hear from people all the time that tell me there's short on it, but synthetically, without options, I don't know how that's done. And secondly, it's not, it's all gray sheet. So I don't, there's only what, 2 market makers on it or 4 market makers. I'm not sure, but
We've got a few.
Sorry.
We've got a few.
Yeah.
I mean, it's trading on a few platforms. Is Fidelity, did it stop or is it still on Fidelity?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a Fidelity account.
Fidelity is still very hit and miss over the phone, according to sources.
Yeah, but you can't trade on their app anymore.
Ultimately, that's the biggest problem with it being across the OTC market, the gray sheets and the pink sheets. We don't know any truth to any of it. We can't follow it because nothing has to be reported on.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to solve that problem because Meta's not going to touch it at all. So.
No way. Yeah, no. I always just choose to leave it alone. I let the bird talk about it, and I talk about Meta because that's, it just works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I learned my lesson. I learned my lesson, guys. No, and it's hard too because sometimes people are like, "Oh, please don't talk about the divvy," and then there's other people who are like, "That's all I want to talk about." But I mean, for me, I'm just waiting to see how things play out because I know George has a plan, right? And we're not all privy to it, but that's the catalyst, and that's what I'm waiting to see what happens.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens when we do the filing on the S1, like we had mentioned in the press release, and then the date comes when that because there has to be another dividend date. There will be after the S1 is approved, there will be a dividend date, and then you're going to see the rats scurrying, I should say, to see, and then everything will come to fruition. So everything will play out. I think it'll play out a little differently than the last time, but I think it'll play out at that point. So it'll be
the rats scurrying. Mm-hmm. So when you say the rats,
well,
are you talking about those in the short?
The rats, the shorts.
This is my personal opinion. I think there's a pretty decent sized short in MMTLP, and I think the deck was never the what's the word the GL was never balanced from the merchant. And I still think there's stuff going on, and what you're going to see, and this is just my personal opinion, is that you're going to see some brokerage houses are going to deny people to be able to acquire MMTLP, and then they're going to say, just like Robinhood did, sell only, which is going to create all kinds of problems in MMTLP when that dividend is issued.
I'm wondering if we might actually see that with Meta eventually too. I mean, because they cover those shares. That's why I moved my stuff out of Robinhood. I couldn't move my MMTLP I moved it to Vanguard, but they wouldn't take my MMTLP, but I could move my Meta over. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see that with quite a few of them.
I would also say that one of the things you guys talk about a lot is the number of the float shares in Meta and what have you. There's so many people that I know that were big holders of Meta that haven't sold anything, and in fact have acquired more. So I would, in all of those shares from Canada that came in, those exchange shares, those aren't even exchanged. So they're not in the float. They're sitting there on the record books of Meta.
Yep.
So
I know.
That totally made my day. I'm gonna leave now.
You're like, I'm done. It was good.
Just want to let you know, John, you are officially my hero.
Well, here's the thing is I'm not telling you anything that's not out there. So
No, I know it's not. But what you're doing is you're confirming a
Yes.
bias. You're confirming so many things that we have been saying only under pure speculation, under pure assumption that we're interpreting the words properly. It makes us feel good, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
It validates our hope.
Well,
If I could,
from a meta
if I could pitch
perspective,
in for a second.
from a meta perspective, it's just a matter of time. That's all it is. I think that they have so many great things going on that I am privy to, that you all are not. That and George and Ken have, talked about the verticals, and it's crazy all the people they're talking to. It's insane. So,
Did you ever talk about me, George?
is this bird lady?
Crack it.
He doesn't. Let's just say this: his tweeting has gone down quite a bit because his attorneys are telling him not to do that. So, but he watches. I know he does.
All I got to
Okay.
say is I hope I'm one of the first guys that get to go into the new Meta building in Halifax and test all the cool stuff. I want to play with all the toys.
Yeah, I'm actually going out to Pleasanton in about 2 weeks to see that facility. So it'll be good.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, John, for everything, man. This has been amazing tonight.
Well, I appreciate you guys getting together and being such loyal shareholders, and just know that even if I don't respond to everything, that I'm watching and listening and all of that good stuff. I will say this: I've started to watch the Bird Lady videos many, many times, and I always get distracted. And one of these days, I'm going to watch them all. So.
She's a pretty smart gal. She knows her stuff.
Actually, I've heard that. I've some other people that have called me and recommended that I watch them. So, but
you really should.
Thank
You should keep her in mind for maybe some future stuff.
Oh, there you go. All right, everyone. I'm gonna get out of here. It's 9:00 now, and I got some stuff to do. So.
Thank you, John. We appreciate you thoroughly, man. We really appreciate you. Thanks for stopping.
All right, keep up the good work, everyone. And
Thank
John,
you.
Thank you.
About,
Thank you.
Keep digging. That's all I can say. Keep digging.
Yay! Do I sound like Pidge?
Yeah.
Yay!
Good night, John. We appreciate you.
See y'all.
See ya.
Oh my gosh, guys! Everyone look at Terry's picture on like his emoji with the 2 thumbs up and the big smile. That's me right now.
I wish you could see my face right now. Holy shit.
I think I got the same expression on my face from that profile picture right now.
Hey, Terry. What's going on, brother?
I mean, I've been preaching positivity since this all started, man. Like, I put my neck on the line out there, like my viewers talking about back at the TRCH, when it all first started with those MMAT1 options. I got so much hate for that, preaching MMTLP, and just to get that confirmation from John, not only just from a tweet, but to hear it over the, phone here. And just like, he's saying like 95% of the stuff we're saying is correct.
I know, right?
So we're only wrong on 5%, and we can speculate what the 5% we're wrong on, but we're right on 95% of the stuff he's seeing on Twitter. So that's fantastic.
Hey, Pitch, you don't have to raise your hand. Just jump in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like it how John said, how he talked about in the preferred share in the proxy statement, they put one word into that proxy statement, transferable, which made MMTLP valid. And I'm like, yay, finally, we get it straight from the horse's mouth, essentially, or the bird's mouth.
Oh my gosh.
Pitch, how is that? So John is going to start listening to your videos, right? You're a smart cookie. He's been told by other people to listen to your videos.
I don't know. It's like, should I be worried? It's like, should I be worried or excited? I don't know. I made a video earlier today. I got to make a video now about the S1 filing that will be put out and what an S1 is and all that. So I'll be making a video here probably tomorrow about the S1, or maybe tonight and put it out by tomorrow.
Okay, good, because he was saying the S1, and then that's going to give us a new divvy date, correct?
Correct.
So,
yeah, the S1 is going to. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no. So S1 is going to be a statement talking about the spin out to oil co, and then the new X date followed by the new record date, because that's how the shares are going to be, reconciled. And it's from the S1 and the PR of that, that'll be the official oil co. And I just made a video today that once that's when we'll get your presentation. And then my video today was my investigation on why there hasn't been a presentation. I've been digging pretty heavily on that side this past week.
So, and now John also just stated what you stated in your video.
Hello?
George has been a little quieter. Hello, you there? Hello?
What happened to Paige? She said,
You there,
"Oh no,"
Paige?
and then
Hello.
She might have dropped
I think
her
it glitched
headset.
out.
You there?
can you hear us?
You there, Bird?
Is this the Starlink? Is it not working?
No, she dropped out real quick. She'll come back.
Oh yeah.
Hang on.
She'll reconnect.
Yeah. Anyway, so she put in her video, she'd even said that, George has been a little bit quieter and nothing has happened yet. And John just said his lawyers have been stopping him from being too vocal lately, So, it makes a lot of sense. She even said that in her video that he may have had to, she was compared it to Hogwarts to, the one evil lady. God, I can't even think of her name.
Madame Umbridge.
There she is, Umbridge. Yes, she came in and she had stopped them, and then that's basically what the lawyers are doing to Meta. They can't talk anymore. John just said that. He just confirmed that. He's like, they haven't been able to do much,
Yeah,
Well,
that's
there's so much
that's what I've been investigating for the past 10 days is the whole lawyer situation at Meta, the lawyer lockdown at Meta. So that's why they haven't been able to do any additional PR or any presentation that George says. All they can say is we're executing the plan, which is going to be a series of events, more or less, that will possibly come once that S1 is filed and released.
Oh man, how's everybody feel? I mean, seriously, come on. Well, how does everybody feel now?
Freaking fantastic.
It gave me the pump, right? So I always keep saying it's only a matter of time, but to hear him say that, it's only a matter of time. It gives you that burst of energy. You know how people who are runners always say they get their second wind? I feel like I'm getting my second wind.
I don't think I can describe the excitement I have. I mean, I've always been super bull.
I think I'm going to have to make a new sign because I have the in George we trust. I'm going to have to have the in Brda we trust now.
Woo!
In Brda we trust, man. I have to have that on the background. I had to make one up because that was that.
I mean, if you think about
it, we're going to welcome in my future meta millionaires. That freaking thing from Brda just makes you feel like that, man. It just puts that happiness in you.
Well, for him to take the time to come and chat with us, right? He doesn't have to. He knows what's going on. But for them to be concerned about the community, oh my gosh, that's just huge. And we're right 95% of the time.
I'm sitting here trying to hit my fucking vape and I can't do it.
It's amazing.
I'm happy. The dividend is on that 95% correct. That's
dividend calculation.
Yeah, that dividend calculation, 95%, because that's going to be a massive short squeeze if that's the case.
All right, so listen, I now need to know how to buy MMTLP. I haven't done it in so long.
I haven't bought one. I don't know, but if we're gonna squeeze, it would be on both theoretically, right? So, I mean, they have to cover their meta shares, right? Because they're torch.
Well, yeah, but I want them both now. I'm greedy.
I bought more on Friday on Fidelity. It's open back up for trading on MMTLP.
On the app?
Yep.
Thank you, Swing.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks very much, Swing.
Yeah, thanks.
There you go. I don't know. It's Fidelity. Schwab, I think, was another one.
E-Trade does it. And guess this, JP Morgan. If you have a JP Morgan account, they do it, but you have to put in a limit. Like E-Trade, you can only do OTC with limits. Same with JP Morgan, but JP Morgan does MMTLP now too.